Welcome to Man in America, a voice of reason in a world gone mad. I'm your host, Seth Holhouse. So Friday, we saw the most historic crypto crash the market has seen yet. Now, I don't think it's going to be the first of this size. I think there's probably many more coming. However, this was absolutely significant for a lot of reasons. So I'll pull up this tweet here from the Cabesi letter. It says, "It's official. Crypto just saw its largest liquidation event in history with 1.6 million traders liquidated. Over 19 billion worth of leveraged crypto positions were liquidated in 24 hours, 9 times the previous record." So there's a lot to dig into here. And my guest today, my really good friend John Perez, and I will be digging into it hard and looking under every rock we can find. But even looking at that single tweet, that 1.6 million traders had their positions liquidated. People that had 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollar positions went down to $0 in a matter of minutes. This is really significant. Obviously, this represents a big shaking in the trust of cryptocurrency. Now, me personally, this is the currency that I trust, right? And this piece of metal I hold in my hand. But I'm more old school. I know a lot of you are dabbling in crypto, or maybe you've made some good money on Bitcoin, which is great. However, there's something much bigger going on here. And this is what John and I will be exploring today, because a few things. One is about 30 minutes before this, so Trump basically made a major tariff announcement on China. And that tariff announcement is what then caused the markets just to crater. Now, about 30 minutes before that announcement was made, let me pull up another tweet for you. 30 minutes before the tariff announcement, a whale took a multi-million-dollar short in Bitcoin. 1 hour later, crypto saw its largest ever liquidation, and this position was liquidated for over $192 million in profit. So someone must have known this announcement was coming. I saw another source saying that they closed their short a minute before Trump's announcement. Okay, so someone must have seen this was coming. They placed a massive short, right? A short being you're placing a bet that the value of a share or a stock or a currency will go down. And if it goes down, you make a lot of money. But if it goes up, you lose a lot of money. So 30 minutes before this, and right up until the very minute before Trump made this announcement, someone put this massive short on in the crypto market. They made almost $200 million within minutes and closed out that short position and walked away. So there's something really sketchy about that. But also what's interesting, which I'll get into in the show today, is that BlackRock made a massive multi-billion-dollar purchase of Bitcoin just as it was hitting its rock bottom before it started going back up again. So there's a lot to dig into here, which John and I are going to have a lot of fun, as we usually do, looking into all aspects of this. But I think there is a much bigger conspiracy at play here, and we're going to be talking about that, the role of cryptocurrency, what John refers to as the silver psyop, the role of crypto in pulling people away from precious metals, how crypto starts opening the door for central bank digital currency, and so much more. So we're going to be digging into really analyzing this particular event, this crash, what that means, what it looked like, what caused it, looking at how it ties into precious metals, what's happening with precious metals, and also taking a little bit of a look into what's happening with some mining stock and rare earth elements and some stuff that also ties into all of this. So as usual, if you've watched the shows with John Perez, it's high energy. We have a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy this. There's a lot of speculation, but this is the age that we live in. So anyway, I'll stop talking. I'll let you get into the interview, and please enjoy Mr. John Perez. John Perez, man, it is always so much fun to have you on the show. And as we were just talking about before we started recording, I could spend 2 days straight just sitting around, just chatting with you. And I hope we can at some point, because you're one of my favorite people to talk to for like 15 different reasons. So thank you for being here on a weekend. It's always good to have you on the show.
Yeah, glad to be back and super stoked. I mean, by the way, Everything's going great right now. Couldn't be happier. Everybody's happy. Everyone's making money. And by the way, we have a very new special guest who, in our Silver Gold Stocks Club, and so happy to have this special radio and TV and YouTube and Rumble personality in our Silver Gold Stocks Club. Anyhow, welcome to Silver Gold Stocks.
Yeah, I think I know that guy. So what we're going to cover today is crypto, precious metals, and mining and rare earth elements. And so we'll kind of walk through the big thing, which was all the news yesterday, still all the news today, the massive shakeup in the crypto market. So I'm going to run through a few different kind of tweets here showing what happened. So this is a Kobesi letter. I love these guys over on Twitter. It's official.
Yes.
Crypto just saw its largest liquidation event in history with 1.6 million traders liquidated. So that's a big number. 1.6 million traders had their positions liquidated. Okay, we'll get into that. Over 19 billion worth of leveraged crypto positions were liquidated in 24 hours, 9 times their previous record. Why this happened, let's explain. So they walk through a little bit of what happened here. So there's a screenshot of that negative, massive drop off a cliff.
Oh my goodness.
So what they say here is, here's the top 5 crypto liquidation events of all time. So it says, to put it into perspective, the liquidation event we saw over the last 24 hours was $17 billion larger than the February 2025 crash. It was 19 times larger than the March 2020 crash and the collapse of FTX. So these are the different crashes. The biggest one was earlier this year in February, where the market lost $2.2 billion. Here we lost almost 10 times that, right? Close to $20 billion. So it says, amid the liquidation, Bitcoin recorded a $20,000 daily candlestick. This marks a $380 billion swing in Bitcoin's market cap alone in a single day. That's more than the market cap of all but 25 public companies in the world. Once again, this has never happened in history. So this is major, very significant. And I know that you've talked a lot about crypto, that the people that are like high horse, like all for crypto, don't like what you have to say. But I think those people are now, I'm seeing a lot of people coming out and saying, I'm out of crypto, I'm done. And I'll share a few different kind of tweets and then I'll hand it back over to you. So this is a guy saying, holy SHIT, just got a call from my good friend who's a higher up at a well-known crypto firm. They got completely wiped out. Weren't ready for something like this at all. Hearing that some partner firms of theirs also got wiped out, fully gone, not a penny left. This could be bad. Okay, another one. This guy says, I have a friend that was close to $30 million net worth. He had almost a decade in crypto. He lost the whole $30 million yesterday in 10 minutes on cross margin. An entire decade and multiple generations he could have retired, all gone in 10 minutes. Another one, I lost $135,000 on pump. My leverage was 2x and my liquidation price was 0.0005, a price that was impossible to hit, but it did hit. And this is sad. This was all of mine and my sister's life savings. I puked. I don't know what to do. I'm out of words. Another person. My whole life is gone. My family is gone. My money is gone. It is truly over. You will never hear from me again. Goodbye. This guy right here lost over $5 million. I'm also seeing this a lot too. I'm seeing people post like this, F Bitcoin, F ton, F BNB, F altcoins, F this crypto.
Wow.
I'm seeing a lot of pictures just like this of people that smashed their desks, like completely destroyed their desks. And it's even gotten to the point right here, a very famous crypto investor and influencer, Konstantin Galish, found dead in his Lamborghini. So this guy committed suicide in his Lamborghini after this.
Wow, I'm not surprised.
I mean, a lot of 1.6 million people had their positions liquidated. I mean, this is... Anyway, I'll let you comment before you go back in. Are you or someone that you know feeling just not right after the COVID vaccine? Well, you're not alone, and new research backs it up. In a groundbreaking study, Risk Stratification for Future Cardiac Arrest After the Jab, Dr. Peter McCullough highlights an alarming rise in sudden cardiac events among young and previously healthy individuals. His study found that tiny, hidden patches of heart inflammation, often missed by doctors, could silently be building up, leading to sudden heart attacks during exercise or sleep. That's why the wellness company created the 3-in-1 Ultimate Spike Detox, crafted with 100% natural ingredients, specifically designed to help your body clear harmful spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. So don't wait until symptoms strike. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, a top freedom-fighting doctor who risked it all. Head to twc.health/Seth and use code Seth to get 10% off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/Seth and use code Seth to get 10% off. Get back to that pre-COVID feeling.
Well, nobody wanted to hear what I talked about. First came out with David Morgan and then Mike Adams, and then with you about the silver psyop. And I said from the very beginning here, this was an event. It was staged. And in the end, I said Bitcoin dies, silver flies. Here, Bitcoin, worst event ever. The last time silver was at $50, $49, $50, silver crashed. JP Morgan bought all the silver and Bitcoin took off. And we went from 2011 till 2025, where we had thin air that is going to the moon. And now suddenly it's pulled out and people were leveraged to the hilt. They didn't own anything. It's unregulated. So, people got so comfortable with this thing going up, which to me, that's why I called it the silver psyop and the crypto conspiracy, is that people were going in. And to me, this was the ultimate central banker's tool to distract $2 trillion away from gold and silver while they prepared, got ready, because the central banks, if you look at the amount of gold they accumulated during the whole time between 2011 until now, they accrued billions and billions, and that includes Tether too, which is now a larger holder of gold here. But in the end here, I said this would end. It would be silver flying and Bitcoin dying, and it will be XRP taking the place of Bitcoin down the road. Now, I think a lot of people, I caught a lot of flack for that. I caught so much flack for that. I couldn't believe it, but to me, it was too obvious. I did the research. In fact, before I communicated with David Morgan, I did almost a year and a half of some serious research here, and it had Jeffrey Epstein's fingerprints all over Bitcoin. And why? And I just thought to myself, look, as Warren Buffett said, there's no such thing as a good deal with bad people. And so for me, I bought Bitcoin like $65, $120. I bought Litecoin when it was, like 15, 20 cents. I made a bunch of money off it. And then I thought, okay, I'm out. I'm really a gold and silver guy. I just wasn't comfortable with it because it's not that they didn't have counterparty risk. There was no counterparty. It was all anonymous. You were just putting your money in a black hole. And now look at this here. These guys got so comfortable going up, they just used margin and margin and margin. And that margin, when I was a trader at Monex, I did millions and millions of dollars margining and leveraging silver. And tens of $millions of trading silver, but that was very dangerous. I mean, imagine, $1 million trades leveraging silver 4-to-1 here. You had to be on it. But the minute that stuff turns on you, if you're not ready, it's over. For these guys to get leveraged out means that they had wide open trades and leverage with no sell stops. Or it gapped over. I'm not sure if they could. In some cases, you can gap down and lose out. It's different for everyone. But back to the silver psyop and crypto conspiracy. From day one, I said the central bankers are in on this. Why? Because they were able to distract $2 trillion of money into thin air. And now, where's this money going? It's anonymous. I said, what's happening here? What we're going to see with this big drop in Bitcoin, somebody sold and took profits. That money right now is being transferred right now. It's going to be going to work here. And it's not a surprise to me that gold is here at $4,000 an ounce. Silver's well over $51. And Bitcoin, that was a signal, because when silver crashed at $50, Bitcoin took off. And in the silver psyop, I said, this is how it goes. First, silver dies, Bitcoin flies. Bitcoin has flown. Silver has returned to $50 here. It's also a 48-year cup and handle chart here. And now we're about ready to. Now we see Bitcoin dying. And what happened here is this: a lot of money that went into Bitcoin was used by Tether to buy more gold. So indirectly, Bitcoiners don't realize it. They actually financed much of the gold operations at Tether, which is being managed by guys like Cantor Fitzgerald related to Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary in the Trump administration. I can go on and on more, but I don't want to go into too more details. But we're winning here, and it's going to get worse here. There's nothing that's going to stop Trump. If Trump can redirect this capital out of crypto into gold to back the U.S. dollar, which he said he would, and Judy Shelton said July 2026, we're going to go into the golden era, and Trump said we're going to make gold a currency again. I have the video on this here. How are you going to really reset gold here? He's got to do Fort Knox reset here. Redirect it. There was a congressman who did a tape. I actually kept the recording here saying there's a law in the books to outlaw cashing in Bitcoin and literally make it outlawed. That money is going to have to go somewhere here. So there's all these different things that are happening here. But at this stage, 1.6 million traders wiped out. Hey, for all the people that really hated the manipulation in silver, hey, there's a reason to have some compassion here, because what we saw it happen to Bitcoin is just absolutely unbelievable. But it's unregulated. It's not backed by anybody. You had people that 10 years of being what I would call the Stockholm syndrome of profit, where you basically became it was so comfortable to ride it to the moon. Everyone's saying it's going up here. Yet all these people going out there. And at the end of the day, you have to hold your physical, you have to hold your gold, and then you take your risk in the stock market there. And unfortunately, the ending that we see in Bitcoin, if this is the beginning of the end, which I do believe it is in the silver psyop and the crypto conspiracy, then I already know what the ending is going to be. And this is one reason why our and Silver Gold Stock Club, we're just smoking. We're killing it. Stock market crushed on Friday. We're making money. Bitcoin crushed on it. We're making money here. We were ready for this. I've been preparing for years for this here. And this is going exactly as I expected. Fortunes will be made. You know, sector rotation on a scale never seen before. A violent rotation into rare earth stocks is happening right now. I expect ETFs and indices to come in at 2026 here. And of course, what are we happening? Where are we at? We're sitting in a gold stock that's up over 7,000% and continues to roll on here. We're going to see that Bitcoin money that sold out recently. We're going to see that money come back in the market here. And boy, Trump will be with the Prime Minister of Australia on October 20th, making some big mining deal announcements in gold and critical minerals and rare earth. Where's that money going to go? I have a sneaky feeling that much of the profits that we're taking in crypto are going to end up in the mining sector with projects that are promoted by the government and owned by the government companies like MP and Mountain Pass Materials, Apple in on here. I think that's going to, but to me, this was planned though. The controllers, if you go to Grok and ask, can the controllers crash Bitcoin? You'd be shocked at what Grok is saying. They just tell you flat out, there's no reason to be here. They can sell it in a heartbeat. And the worst part about all this is that, you know, there's nothing worse than people losing money here. This was such a sophisticated operation here. How is it that this anonymous currency was out there under the Obama? It came, people realize this came under Obama. It's not like this guy was, you know, Mr. Clean-cut guy here. I mean, everything coming out of Obama has turned out to be 180 degrees wrong. And now Trump's in office, and it was 2 weeks ago, Eric Trump said, there's going to be fourth quarter of crypto is going to be unbelievable. It's like, what does that unbelievable mean? Well, now we are starting to see the unbelievable here. And I'll tell you, if you've been in silver, which we've been in silver since $16, $17 here. If you are in silver mining stocks, you hold physical, congratulations. Hold gold, congratulations here. Silver stocks, gold stocks, congratulations. That money, you see these people, we're out of crypto, we're done. They're coming into our world. Like I said, I've did videos. You're all going to be buying silver, gold stocks. You're all, because that's the only place to go. It's the only place to go. Stock market crash, everything else crash. The whole world is going, and of course, like all the doomsayers saying a dollar, you know, the dollar's going to crash. The dollar's going to go down, but it's by design. And in the end, gold's going to happen. Trump said the golden era. We're going to back the U.S. dollar with gold. What's the best way to do it? Jack that price to the moon. And that's exactly, we just hit $4,000 gold. I can't believe it here. We had $50 silver. I mean, the last time silver hit $411, gold's at $1,200 an ounce here. Platinum up at $800, $700 in the last few months here. I mean, everything we're touching right now is just soaring. But in my opinion, are we surprised at our group? No, because my thesis remained the same. Silver side, when Bitcoin dies, silver flies, and we're flying right now. Silver is flying. Bitcoin is just starting here. This will pan out exactly as I described it would.
And so what I think, you mentioned a few things I want to touch upon, but I like taking that 100,000 foot view and looking, okay, what is the big plan? And I interviewed David Jensen a week and a half ago or so, and we went into this heavy. And what he kind of talked about, which I agree completely, is that there is a very long-term plan that right now we're kind of entering into the end game of, to get people into some sort of centralized digital currency. Okay, it's the ultimate end game for the control grid. If they can control our money, they control everything. Okay, and so what I'm seeing here is, I think that obviously in America, this used to be real money, right? Silver used to be real money. Gold was real money that could be interchanged, and we went through the process of obviously the Federal Reserve coming out. We had the Gold Confiscation Act of 33. They brought it all in. Then we had Nixon. They've slowly converted all the people that are holding physical metal into people holding dollar bills. Now, I think that, in my opinion, and this might offend some people, I think that a large part of the entire crypto kind of conspiracy has been to get people to get used to digital currencies and to pull assets, to pull money away from gold and silver, away from hard assets. Because you think about it, a lot of the people that are buying Bitcoin and crypto, a lot of them are doing it because they don't trust the government. They don't trust the financial institutions. Right. They're doing it to kind of middle finger the big bankers, right? But whereas traditionally, those people would have a stack of silver buried in their backyard. That was the ultimate protection from the bankers, right? And so what I think is happening is they have strategically, as you mentioned, pulled, you said almost $2 trillion into this digital currency air market, where they can have complete manipulation of it. Obviously they manipulate silver and gold, but you're never going to see silver go to zero. You're never going to see that. Like, whereas if we look at a lot of the, I think I actually have a tweet here I wanted to pull up here that shows. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe I don't have it pulled up.
By the way, great work on that the crypto work you had there. Those tweets on crypto are, I think unfortunately, we're going to see some really bad things here coming in Bitcoin. This kind of activity is going to, we're really going to see some bad things coming up here, and it's just going to be savage. But this is the money industry. This is like you said, 100,000 foot view. That's happening from way up there, and you can only react to these things if you're not prepared for what's to come here. I mean, exactly. Everything I did here, our entire group was designed to be in this very situation. Is exactly what my entire group was designed to profit from, this thesis and this theory that I had, and it's. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's incredible to watch it unfold like this.
Oh, it's wild. But what's crazy, so going back into what happened here, let me see. Okay, so let's look at this. To me, this shows you that something is happening behind the scenes. And I think that the event we just saw in the crypto market was the first round of a big shakeup, right? So every time the bankers, the elites, whatever you want to refer to them as, what they do is they shake everything up. A lot of people that aren't solidly positioned, they lose everything. But then these powerful families and wealthy bankers, they come in, they buy up everything. And so what's crazy though is, and this is what's kind of wild, 30 minutes before Trump's tariff announcement, which is really what set the cascade of the crypto market kind of collapsing, a whale took a multi-million-dollar short in Bitcoin. That's strange, isn't it? Right? It's like, okay, why would Bitcoin's been doing really, really well. It's up to $120,000. Someone took a multi-million-dollar short in Bitcoin. Okay, an hour later, the crypto saw its largest ever liquidation, and that short position was liquidated for $192 million in profit. That's crazy. Okay, that is absolutely crazy.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
But then what's also wild, if you look at this, where's my other tweet here. Let me pull it up.
Well, this is not. This is the 9/11 for Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin 9/11 is what that turns out. Remember, they shorted all the airlines, and then before they crashed the airlines, well, somebody shorted Bitcoin, made a fortune on it, and then blew right out. So obviously, probably an intelligence or a staff or someone. That's why I said this is obviously that trade right there alone. That trade right there tells you that this was all planned. And, because same like 9/11, who shorted no one ever came to, nobody was ever arrested for that or investigated. I mean, although Mario on Manico knows the names on there, the fact that this trade was done and traded on Bitcoin says everything about how this was planned out. And like I said, I have been repeating this for a couple years, and much to the dismay of many Bitcoiners. Oh, one more piece I needed to throw in here, very important here. Talking about the distraction, getting people away from gold and silver, so the bankers could get in they need to position themselves. Their gold stocks, get the physical here, because at the end of the day, the banks have the physical. The central banks have bought everything here. Meanwhile, all these people are distracted playing in crypto land, thin air, and talking to themselves about how we're all going to get, we're going to $1 million crypto here. And you got Michael Saylor out there basically running this scheme, with MicroStrategy. A lot of people don't know that there was a anti-gold propaganda campaign out there. Anybody can look it up. And this was part of my research. It was called #DropGold. #DropGold, where they show gold as a relic, it's worthless, and it was financed and connected to the largest Bitcoin trust, run and connected to none other than Reid Hoffman, who was the PR public relations guy for none other than Jeffrey Epstein. You tell these people these things here in Bitcoin, and they close their eyes. Most people don't know. And Jeffrey Epstein's interview is still up on Cointelegraph. Read the interview. That it was Jeffrey Epstein said Bitcoin has great potential to be it's not a currency, it's not money here. It's still up there, but if you read the sales pitch, everybody pumping Bitcoin was quoting Jeffrey Epstein. Try telling that to people. Once you get caught up in that greed factor, it was gold fever became crypto fever. Basically is gold fever. The difference is with gold, at least it's real and you can hold on to it. And that the central bankers, they will print all the money they can to get as much gold as possible. Our country will bomb Iraq, take their gold here. This is what they do here. Nobody's getting bombed to steal their crypto. You know what I mean? No one's getting held up. There's no banks, Brinks trucks getting robbed for their gold here. For crypto. They want the gold. Everybody wants the gold here. Tier 1, Basel III. This is the future here. And as Trump called it, the golden era here. So, again, what you were saying, yes, absolutely. The whole crypto thing, the Bitcoin was like the training coin, getting people ready here. And I do believe that they've accomplished what they're accomplished. But the savagery as to how this ended here, I think that's going to put a dent in anyone thinking about it. We all saw what happened to Bitcoin. We all saw altcoins. It's like, you guess what's going to happen? I'm buying gold now. You saw what happened with crypto. You watch.
Well, what's
Everybody
crazy,
said, "Oh, gold, silver to the moon, baby." Yeah, it's going to happen.
Is also if you look at that whale position that was shorting Bitcoin before that happened, but then you have to look at who's buying Bitcoin when it hits bottom, right? And imagine that none other than BlackRock. So Larry Fink comes in. They bought 45,000 Bitcoin worth $5 billion at an average price of $105,000 during the flash crash. So this shows you that they're just playing games, right? The big bankers, the social engineers, they're shaking things up. They're bankrupting. All these people, right? I lost all this money. This guy lost $5 million. This other guy, you see these pictures. These people lost. This guy here saying a friend lost $30 million. So all these kind of day traders, and they've been making money. They're living on top of the world, right? Here you go. This guy, the guy that's got he's got his Lamborghini. This guy is rolling in money until he's not. Until they do the shake up. They shake everything up, and then before you know it, it's like, oh my gosh! And then you've got the guy. Again, you've got BlackRock coming in. just buying it up. The same thing happened in the Great Depression. And
that's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out with BlackRock. But it's the same culprits. It's the same names, same people.
The same
when
formula.
You got that kind of money on board.
Over and over again, right?
And what happens if BlackRock buys all this Bitcoin and then...
Ladies and gentlemen, our world is being poisoned. You know that. Every day we're exposed to more chemicals sprayed into our skies, leaching into our food, and polluting our air and water. From pesticides and heavy metals to hormone disruptors and synthetic additives, these toxins are bombarding our bodies and destroying our health. But there's something you can do to fight back, and it starts with your gut. Kimchi One from Brightcore Nutrition contains over 900 strains of beneficial probiotics that help flush toxins, restore gut balance, and support your immune system. So when your gut's strong, your body can actually resist all these toxins. You're going to feel better. You're going to have better digestion, more energy, clearer thinking, stronger immunity, even improvements in your skin, hair, and metabolism. And this isn't just hype. Studies show that fermented foods like kimchi can reduce the risk of obesity, improve blood sugar, and support whole body wellness. Kimchi One is all natural, non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, and 100% made in the USA by a company that actually cares about your health. Imagine that. And today, you can get an exclusive offer just for my viewers, 25% off with the code MANINAMERICA by clicking on the link in the description below. Or just call my friends over at Brightcore now at 888-575-6488, and their educated staff will make sure that Kimchi One is right for you. Again, that's 888-575-6488.
We find out that Trump seized his assets from BlackRock because of, because the truth came out. He's like, hey, look, they're buying all the Bitcoin. Well, by the way, we got some problems here. We're going to investigate BlackRock. All of a sudden, it's like, they're going to take, we're living in tremendously incredible times where, I mean, look, it's war out there. This is literal economic warfare against retail, against investors, and investors have to operate as if they are in a battle, in a war. And we're seeing this. I mean, this is war. You see, people here are gonna, be. How do here's the funny part. Did anybody lose? If you let's say these numbers were gold and silver, where did it go? Well, it's still there. It's physically, and there's no physical any. These numbers are based on leverage too and margin. So much of this stuff was just thin air. As bad as it sounds, and not to be insensitive to everyone losing money. If you're going 10-to-1 margin on $1 million, you got 10. You didn't lose 10 million. You had 9 millions in credit out there, maybe $1 million in assets. But even that million is questionable because of the counterparty risk. And there are people out there that there's 100-to-1 leverage. There's guys out there using 100-to-1 leverage out there. So I got 10,000 in, and I got 100 times. So I got $1 million in crypto. I lost $1 million. No, you didn't lose $1 million. You lost 10 grand. You were just basically, you got a margin call and you liquidated, you're out. And that's big money there. And in the silver industry, it worked the same way. If you got if you were shorting silver and it went long, you got forced liquidated or reverse. And I've done margin calls. I need to send 100,000. You got 24 hours. I've been on the phone doing margin calls with people. I know how to call people. We are forced liquidating you if you don't get your money in. So that's the way it is here. It's difficult. If you haven't done those calls, I've done them before. Fortunately, my calls were in silver, but they were planned. I used to tell my clients, if we ever have a margin call, believe me, throw money at it. Throw money. Don't hesitate. Don't ask why. Just have money ready. And I had 3 margin calls, and every one of them, John, you said if you ever call me for a margin call, it would be recorded and it would be business. And I'm sending money. How much do I need to send? Send this much. Send, boom, silver, make a recovery, and bam. I said, but crypto, I mean, what did you lose? I mean, if they have these massive numbers. What if all that crypto was gold and silver? Where's it at? Did it fall over here? Did you lose it? Who has it? There's nothing there. It's just digital numbers.
Exactly.
That digital's margin, leverage. It's, as Trump said, it's thin air. And in the gold markets, if someone says, oh, I lost $1 billion in gold in a shipwreck. Well, I can tell you that gold is at the bottom of the sea here. The Bitcoin, you lost your Bitcoin. It's not at the bottom of the sea. It's evaporating. It's in the ether.
Yeah. Well, I want to pull up this tweet from Jack Krause, Dr. Jack Krause. He says, this is interesting. And then I'll follow up with a tweet below from Jacob King. So Jack says, my bet is that Lutnick and Fink created the short to see if they controlled enough coins to make the market move as it did. It was a compliance test by the government to benefit itself. Why? That was the largest Bitcoin flash crash in history, 278 billion in value wiped out in 45 minutes. That is a crash the government can easily track via the blockchain and apprehend someone. The reason no one will be caught is because the criminals in DC are doing the crime. Now I want to follow up here with Jacob's post here, who says, crypto is a rigged casino, and today's events prove it beyond doubt. And this is my exact thought. Crypto is a rigged casino. Okay, he says a single colossal Bitcoin whale shorted at the peak, then just minutes before the market shattering crash, piled on millions more in shorts. At the very bottom of the drop, he closed 90% of his Bitcoin short and completely exited his Ethereum short, pocketing roughly $190 to $200 million in a single day. That's the only instance we can trace, but speculation is rampant that the scale was far larger and extended across other exchanges. Don't be naive. This wasn't luck. Someone was either manipulating the market or front-running it. Either way, the collapse was engineered, and investors have every reason to be alarmed. And this is the takeaway for me. This is the takeaway for me, is that it's like you're still playing in a rigged game. And I think that's the psyop. I think that is the core of the psyop, is that they've created this kind of private cryptocurrency, and they've convinced all these people to put trillions into it, thinking it's this completely fair, there's no manipulation, but it's still a rigged game. It's like, do you think that these people don't have back doors? If you look into the NSA's origins and the NSA's ties to the creation of Bitcoin, it's like, do you think that they're not like, advanced enough that they can actually track this? Like, oh no, it's completely private. It's like, well, is it?
Yeah. Well, John. Well, as you know, the rest in peace, John McAfee said, Bitcoin is a tracking and surveillance device. And when you say tracking and surveillance, I mean, he says it. Bitcoin is a tracking and surveillance device. You want to argue with McAfee? Good luck. This guy's a genius. Billionaire, no longer with us. So they say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe. Megyn Kelly, Epstein will be back soon. You guys, get ready, you guys. You got big surprises coming here. Now, I will say this, of course there's back doors. And McAfee said this was a tracking and surveillance device. If it's connected to Epstein, I mean, it's still, everybody should go to Cointelegraph, type in Jeffrey Epstein Bitcoin. You read that and you're like, this is a clue. They left it there for a reason. That's a clue. That, I mean, if gold was I went to look on the history of gold, and it traces back to Jeffrey Epstein, you're like, well, what kind of gold is this? It's a new kind of gold that we created, in a white paper with such and such bank. I was like, it's fool's gold, I mean, I think to me, that's the biggest backdoor. Of course, there are multiple backdoors, but as John McAfee said, Bitcoin is a tracking and surveillance device. Bitcoin is and I never forgot that. It's out there. Bitcoin and John, you got John McAfee and you got Jeffrey Epstein basically talking about Bitcoin in the beginning. I'm talking way back when. You had to be awake in the research department to know this. The modern era, people they don't care. This is a very bad sign though. I think this is kind of a societal commentary on my part and opinion. It was Warren Buffett who said, there's no such thing as a good deal with bad people here. Well, when Epstein's connected with Bitcoin here and Ghislaine Maxwell, and of course there's a story, the rumor that Ghislaine Maxwell was on Reddit trading Bitcoin and the certain person here, that right there, I mean, can you imagine if you're an investment person, you got people's money you're working with, it's like, hey, I got this great investment. It started with Epstein. And guess what? There's rumors that Ghislaine Maxwell was in. How would you like to invest in that? It's like, I don't think so. How about just give me my physical silver, baby? Give me my physical gold. Give me my coin, my bullion. I don't want to put my money. That's the way I looked at it. I can't justify this. I can't do that. Mom, I got great news. We're going to invest in a coin related to Bitcoin and Maxwell. Now, most people would argue and say, no way, no way. But just as Jacob King said, This was always rigged, and I've always said this before from the very beginning. Bitcoin was designed to take money away from silver and gold investing. So the bankers, they knew the dollar was going to collapse. They need as much physical as they can. They got $2 trillion to look that way while they took the gold and silver. I mean, the how much silver did JP Morgan accumulate between 2011, the crash, they were buying it, to now? I mean, they over 1 billion ounces here. Well, do the math. If they got 1.5 billion in silver, we're at $50. That's 1 billion times 50 bucks. Hey, $50 billion. They made 40 billion on that trade if you stick with the billion, but 1.5 billion here. They didn't lose anything. And to me, it's like nobody's talking about, hey, did you see how much silver accumulated by JP Morgan? They got physical. They were buying when silver crashed. They were buying silver hand over fist, and and Bitcoin's going up. And of course, it was la la land, la di da di da, Bitcoin to the moon. We had all the memes, all the people, all the talkers on YouTube. They're all gone. They're dead. They're this and that. Guys are, and it was, to me, it was an absolute psychological operation here, and it's unfortunately it's ending right now. But this is the way it was supposed to end. And as Jacob King said, and related to John McAfee, it's a tracking and surveillance device. How could anyone think, it's anonymous? No, it's not. It's you will find out soon here. And Megyn Kelly saying, we just said a year ago. She said a year ago, almost to the day, Epstein will be back. And I'm telling you, I think the dude's going to be showing up here pretty soon. There's something going on here it's bigger than the reason why people don't see this. It's because they don't. I mean, you guys. I live way out in the ether of conspiracy land at the highest levels here, and I look for this kind of stuff here. And our success in our group is going to be on a divine scale here because we prepared for this here. We built Noah's Ark of silver and gold for the last 3-4 years. And now, though, here comes the tide. Here comes the water, and all our boats are being lifted up here. Meanwhile, it's a catastrophe in Bitcoin land. But really, was it really a catastrophe? What's getting wrecked here? Digitized ether, as Trump's called it, thin air. We don't see gold flying out of people's houses, out of their pockets, being taken away. If you owned $1 million in Bitcoin and $1 million in gold, well, your Bitcoin may be up in smoke, but you still have your gold. If someone says, "Oh, gold crashes," gold's not crashing. If it crashes, you buy more. But this is, unfortunately, this is a really, really a bad event. But to me, this was all staged. Absolutely, I agree with Jacob King. In fact, I actually follow him. And everybody should follow him. He's right on the money. He is literally, in fact, I told my group, I go, this guy here knows the silver psyop. He knows the crypto conspiracy. I read this guy. He is right on the money. He's nailing it. And people don't see that. And he's doing everyone a big service by that. And of course, now that if it falls apart, if Bitcoin, I forgot his name. From London. Bitcoin is considered a property, not a coin, not a currency, not money. That means it can be seized. It can be seized if it's determined, which it was, and it is determined that Bitcoin was used in human trafficking legally under the Magnitsky Act, under Executive Order 13818. It can be seized as property, as part of evidence in a case here. So this is still out there here. So I think any type of hey, we want our money back from what? It was all leverage. It was all ether margin here. Now, if someone stole your gold, okay, maybe you can follow a case and get after it. But it's thin air and it's unregulated. So who are you gonna call? 1-800-regulation. There's nothing there. It's like, I'm sorry, it's unregulated, and you knew going in there was nothing there. I mean, really, you're up against a brick wall, and unfortunately, the losses are going to be there. But the real message here is the importance and value of physical silver and gold. Holding physical silver, holding physical gold, you have to have it here. And unfortunately, this is going to be a real disaster. I have a lot of people that sold their Bitcoin and bought physical. Right now, they're saying, "Oh, John, I can't believe." I said, they have control. They could do whatever they want here. And this Jacob King guy, he really nails. If you read his work, He describes exactly what's going on inside in the Bitcoin world there. They have access to it, and it's a colossal intelligence operation. And as
Let me ask you something. How much time do you spend every day clicking around online? Searching, scrolling, juggling a dozen tabs. It eats up a lot of time. Well, there's a new AI-powered web browser from Perplexity called Comet, and it's completely changing how you use the internet. Comet doesn't just give you answers, it actually does things for you. It clicks, types, scrolls, and gets stuff done in real time, like booking flights, finding hotels, ordering food, even summarizing long articles or videos. Now, I'll be honest, I'm hesitant about AI overall, but I started using Comet as a way to get around censorship. For example, when I search on Google, does the government have weather modification projects? All I get are fact checkers, official statements, and the same tired conspiracy theory label. But when I ask Comet the same question, it actually pulls up the real documents, declassified government files, congressional reports, even weather control patents. Hard facts, not filtered spin. So if you could use a good tool that gives you extra help with online tasks while also arming you with information to prove to your friends that you're not as crazy as they think you are, this could be a great solution. So you can try Perplexity's new AI browser Comet by heading to pplx.ai/MIA. And when you download it, you're also going to get a free month of Rumble Premium. So that link is in the description below. Again, it's pplx.ai/MIA. So take back your time and take back the truth online.
Back to the drop gold. The drop gold propaganda was connected to Epstein. The McAfee comment, surveillance and tracking. If you have a bunch of people that you are blackmailing and you tell them you're going to own something that's going to make you a lot of money and you give it to them, are you able to track and surveil them and blackmail them more even with their currency? Think about that one. That's as far as I'm going to go with that there. But we have some really interesting things that are coming here. And again, who's the winner? 999 fine, silver and gold. This right here is why people need to hold physical silver and gold. Stock is another thing. You go into that risk, another area there. But bottom line, physical foundation there, 0.119 physical gold and silver here. But again, tracking and surveillance, John McAfee. And what does he do? He was a virus software billionaire. Who would know this better than him? He said tracking and surveillance. And I'm whatever tracking and surveillance they've done with Bitcoin, and they're using AI. I know they're using Palantir is being used to hunt out mortgage fraud. A lot of Bitcoin, a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to tell you a future story here. Pay attention. I'm going to tell you the future. A lot of Bitcoin was laundered into real estate. And now Palantir is using AI with the government to look up all fraudulent mortgage and real estate deals out there where people laundered their money using other means. Future story here. I know where it's going here. They're going to be using it to determine mortgage and real estate fraud using AI Palantir. That's how they got that judge that Trump went after. It was actually came through AI. And I mean, if they do this, I mean, we're going to see, it's close your eyes, because a lot of people, they took their profits and they laundered it here, laundered it there. I mean, it's just really going to be a not so pretty sight, and it's bigger. It's bigger than people think here. Now, what happens if they seize this stuff? Well, the government would love to get some gold, by legal means, and we're going to seize this, we're going to seize that, and they're going to put it in their coffers there. That's what they're going to do here. And Trump said that the use of Bitcoin can lead to illegal activity. He was very vague about that. But if you look at Executive Order 13818, it has to do with human trafficking and assets. And I've said this over and over like a broken record. Read Section 7, Executive Order 13818. It is right there. It is right there. They said there will be no warning or no notice. No warning here. What are they doing? I don't know. Some people have a lot of money. And like Jacob King said, when they pull that out there, the minute you drop a market like that, if it's surveillance and control, that means their people are painting a trail about buying, selling here. They're gathering something here. And of course, Trump is at war with the deep state. This came under the Obama administration here. So what do we really have going on here? We've got Epstein in the background. We got Obama in the background. We got Epstein's banker, JP Morgan, buying silver. Who had the biggest short position in silver? Bear Stearns. Who worked at Bear Stearns? Jeffrey Epstein. Are you paying attention here? This is 120,000 foot research. You must have must know to make it really big in this business here, And so again, Jacob King, I think, nails it. It's a rigged casino. I've kind of stood back here, and I've been waiting for this now for a while, to the point to where even in my group, I go, you guys, are you all watching here? Let's watch closely here. If this thing ends, then we're going to see $1 trillion+ coming into our sector of silver gold stocks. And that's where I come in and say, you're all going to be buying silver gold mining stocks. You're all going to be, that's going to be it. And that's where else are you going to go?
Well,
and then, of course, what was in the headlines? Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
What was in the headlines when Bitcoin crashed? All over front page rare earth. Front page CNBC, rare earth stocks bump up. And what can I say? We're in rare earth. We're smoking it right now. So it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be alive if you really know what you're doing.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know, and they don't have the right people guiding them. One thing I want to pull out here, actually, two different things to show you. One is this tweet. China is preparing for something. It says the gold reserve levels of China have accelerated exponentially in recent years. We are preparing for something big, a planned emergency that warrants our own network of international payment system. This right here, China's stock levels, gold stock levels, right? Look at this. It's like
hockey stick.
They know something is going on. That's the thing, is that they're not rushing in. Actually, China's exiting a lot of their crypto positions. They're exiting a lot of the stock positions. They're dumping U.S. treasuries. They are rushing into physical metals. We're seeing this. We're seeing the bank, Saudi Arabia buying silver. Right. We're seeing that again. It's do as I say, not as I do. You watch what they're doing. And they're pulling their assets. The central banks, the sovereign banks are pulling their assets. They're putting them into precious metals, into gold and silver. So something is going on here. But the other thing too with this is why I interviewed David Jensen about this. Silver's London lease rate surges to 39% in late October 9 trading. So this is a whole other thing, which was touched upon briefly, is that the LBMA, which is what we've kind of talked about, and David and I've done extensive interviews on this before, is that the LBMA, which is the Bank of London's mechanism, the Rothschilds basically bank their mechanisms for manipulating silver and gold prices through the paper markets, it's collapsing. And this is exactly what David said would happen, is that it's collapsing. So right here you see that their lease rate is 39%. If they want to, for leasing, right? So he says right here, Bruce Ikemozo, chief director of the Japan Bullion Market Association, gave an update late October 9th that late day silver implied lease rates for the London market surged to an extreme lease rate of 39% for the 1 month lease tenor in London. So
wow, that's amazing.
In which exactly, and so he says here, he says this level of implied lease rate signals that there is increasingly severe metal supply distress in the London physical silver market, with one or more parties seeking to secure physical metal to make delivery and avoid default. This could be expected in a cash/spot market metal where large amounts. Pop-up keys come here. Where large amounts of promissory notes for immediate metal ownership and delivery on demand have been sold, followed by a global shortage of the subject metal, and contract purchasers then starting to say, "Okay, we'll take the metal." So this right here, this is like we're entering into an era of just absolute insanity of dollar quickly losing its value. I honestly think that we're going to see silver and gold just completely continue to shoot up. The whole system is changing right now.
And remember, in the gold silver stock world, we're going to get 5x, 10x, 12x, 20x, 25x, 50 times more return. Whatever gold and silver do, we're going to make 5, 10, 15, 20x more in the stock market. There's no stopping this. I'm seeing things that are just completely. I'm 2 years ahead of schedule. I'm two years ahead of a schedule that was already an unbelievable goal that I had. And in fact, most people thought I was crazy for saying that. I said, I got news for you. I underestimated the success here. We're I'm 2 years ahead of schedule. We are completely dominating the space here. But I'll tell you, at 39% rates at the LBMA, they're gonna need an underwater false flag or something over there to get away a distraction here. Somehow they're gonna have to extricate themselves here and point the finger at the Russians for whatever. Whether it's a submarine deal, underwater cables here. I didn't know it was 39%. At 30, it's over.
It's crazy.
It's over there. Yeah, they have no metal. They probably never did. Maybe a couple of pallets of tungsten filled bars in the corner there. The ones that were I think it was like 1,600 or 1,900 tons of 400-ounce bars that were poured with tungsten under the Clinton administration. People wait till people ask, say, those bars. That's going to send gold up another $500 an ounce here. We got so many surprises coming here. There's no better time to be a holder of silver, physical gold, and there's no better time to be in the stock market in the right stocks. I mean, and
that's key too.
It's the heyday right now.
And that's what because I was out of the stock market. I never kind of messed around with it. I had a little bit of Bitcoin early on, sold it, and made, very little off of it. But then I started talking to you more recently about silver and gold stocks and mining stocks. And it opens up a whole different world because it's not the regular thing. And what we saw too is that amidst this insanity that you had mining stocks going up, right? And we've got discussions that, we have everything happening with the trade wars, rare earth metals. We've got different, there's only one, if I'm correct, there's only one open mine in America right now where they're actually pulling rare earth metals. The second mine, the Coliseum, they're expecting to be kind of making some big announcements on that shortly. But this is what you're seeing is just this massive shift, but it's all centered around real physical hard assets. It's where everyone's leaving the bubbles. Because they control the bubbles.
Yeah, we're going to be, we're looking at a 10 to 15 year bull market. I mean, the humanoid robots, the technology, they need magnets. You need critical minerals here. The world's largest strontium deposit, which is one of the most important metals for magnets, for humanoid robots, for the military industrial complex. And as you said, MP Mine is the richest, considered the richest deposit in the world, supplies 15% of the rare earth, but the United States needs a lot more. And I mean, it's a national security issue. It's a national emergency. But people don't know this. Say, oh, rare earth. I go, dude, gold is important. Silver is now a critical mineral, but rare earth is a national emergency. And we're going to see Trump very soon here. Very soon, Trump's going to put rare earth on the front page of everything in the future here. And we're never looking back. We're never looking back. And we already know gold is going up, silver's going up. He's about ready to put rare earth at the top there. They put a floor in even the rare earth industry. China was paying this, you couldn't make any money in the rare earth business because China just undercut everybody's prices. Now, I don't think that was an accident. I think there were a bunch of treasonous traders in D.C. that said, let's do this. And then you've got Mountain Pass rare earth mine, which just got $500 million from Apple, not a mining investment, from Apple. Why? They need the critical minerals here. And there's more to come to this. If the richest rare earth project in America, which is Mountain Pass, it is the only mine, and we have a significant national security issue and a security emergency. I assure you, everything that says rare earth on here very soon is going to leap. Now, not all of them are going to go up. There's going to be certain ones that are going to move to the heavens here, because the world's largest budget is where? At the Office of Strategic Capital at the Department of War. And the Department of War has made it an absolute priority for rare earth and critical minerals. How people don't see this, I don't know. It's worth more than gold right now. If you want, the articles are out there, but very soon here, Mountain Pass. 6 miles down up the road is Dateline from Mountain Pass. Dateline stock, the hottest rare earth stock in the world is Dateline. And they're 6 miles away from Mountain Pass. And the theory is, and the rumor is, that they may have the richest rare earth deposit in the world may be at Dateline. We're holding it. We love it. Nothing's stopping it. 4-digit gainer, 7,000%, 6 months. We're going to sit back and ride it up here. It's going to be a lot of fun. But it's a national security issue here. And of course, gold is going to be to the forefront. Everything Trump is doing is going to be with gold and rare earth focus here. But this month here, everyone should be watching. Make sure everyone pays attention to Trump on October 20th. He will be talking about mining. October 20th, it'll be at my mind, and there'll be some nice big surprises there for some people there to watch. But keep an eye on Trump. He's promoting gold. Silver is a critical mineral now. People don't realize that the U.S. government can just say silver at if we have the Rule 589 kicking, it'll be at 175, 225 silver. At that point, it'll be like Trump could just say critical mineral. It's already on the list. Department of Defense. Financing, let's go into silver mining. There's nothing stopping that from now, just like that. It'll be worth doing it because he's talking about putting critical minerals on different military bases here. But again, people are not watching this right now. People are really distracted. But maybe because I do this full time, I see it here. But you can see where this is going here. Gold for the U.S. Treasury, rare earth for Department of Defense. If you're Trump. Here's advisors say, sir, we're going to back up the Treasury we got the Fort Knox revaluation. We've got the U.S. Treasury with Judy Shelton coming out. So gold is critical. Yeah, we're going to back the dollar with it. How do we make a king dollar? Well, sir, it's quite simple. Just jack up gold once it backs the dollar here, and it'll be king dollar again. And that's what Abraham Lincoln did the same thing when he ran the Civil War. He went to one of his advisors and said, why don't you just print up dollars and print your dollars and win the war, and do not accept the money from the Rothschilds and the 29%. And that's what got him killed, and that's what basically put silver out of business, because we had the 1873 act, where they demonetized silver. We're about ready to see silver to become silver will be remonetized with gold, and we'll be going back to a bimetallic system in the future here. And that's why I see Trump. I see these guys gathering silver ore and stockpiling it at military bases like he said they would. They said, we're going to build and stockpile assets at military bases. Why? Because it's money, number one. Number two, Howard Lutnick wants to tokenize all the assets in the ground, put a price tag on it, and electrify it, and then leverage it, which they will do. And that's going to be part of the golden era here. And that's when Trump says, we're going to be winning so much, you're going to get tired of winning here. We're going to be so rich. He's talking about mining. It's all mining. It's small assets. Has nothing to do with crypto. Remember, Bitcoin's going to be a Federal Reserve asset. It's like, oh, can't wait to see that one. How'd that work out? Can you imagine? Hey, we'd like to put crypto in as a reserve asset. Well, it just dropped 20 grand. Can you imagine if what would happen to the U.S. economy and banking? Or imagine, there are banks out there. There are people who put Bitcoin in their retirement funds. Can you imagine waking up Monday saying, oh my gosh, what happened? Can I call customer service? It's like 1-800, nobody's here. It's anonymous. There are people that had elderly pensions. They put Bitcoin in their portfolios. Oh my gosh, you should have just bought them silver a couple years ago and just bury that stuff. Silver's at what, 100%? 100-something% here, what, 65% for the year? Gold on fire here. Everyone who bought Bitcoin and put it in their pensions for IRAs, they're not going to be happy when they open up their portfolios on Monday morning. Exactly. It's really bad. It's just heartbreaking for me. One of the worst things I hate in life, I say this to my group all the time, I hate losing money. And I go, what I hate more is watching other people lose money.
Especially vulnerable people. It drives me nuts. Right? People that don't have a lot.
They're vulnerable.
They're relying on retirement accounts. And so, John, we have to wrap up for today because it was, I've got to, actually, to be honest, I had to get to the farm market before it closes, or else my wife's going to kill me.
$6 milk. $6 milk. I'm like, I want $6 raw milk.
Before we do that, though, I'm going to pull up your website, realjohnfperez.com. I'll make sure the link is in the description. You've got your Silver Stock Gold Club, which you talked a lot about here. I'm now part of it. I own one stock, right? I bought in Dateline, which maybe
congratulations.
Yeah, I know. It's more than doubled. But let's maybe we'll do at some point. Maybe we'll do like a short, specific show going over Dateline when the timing is right.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I think I'm the same boat with you. And again, I'm not giving you stock advice, but I think it's so undervalued versus what's under the ground in the Coliseum.
Yes.
Like it is. to the moon. But anyway, do your own research, right? Join the Silver Gold Stock Club. Go to realjohnfperez.com. Here's all the links for that. The Telegram, etc. And
there's Mario.
yeah. So John, great talking to you, man, as usual. Thank you for hopping on the weekend with me. And yeah, it's exciting.
I have
times.
a suggestion.
Yes.
I have a suggestion. After October 20th, based on what happens there, I think that's a good time after on or right after October 20th. We should talk about Dateline. I think it's gonna be another world.
Oh, I agree.
It's gonna be fun.
I agree. Well, John, man, thank you. Take care, man. It's always good talking to you. I love your energy.
Thank you.
Have a lot
Seth.
of fun. And we'll keep in touch. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you're walking away not too scared of what's going on. But that's my kind of job here, is I try to give you the information that you need to make the right decisions. And John's a great person for that. And while I don't necessarily align with him 100% on everything that he believes, that's how it should be, the core values, he and I see eye to eye. And I've been having him on the show for 3 or 4 years now. And a lot of what he has talked about has come to pass. And a lot of things are hard to predict. Anyway, it's hard to say, okay, when this market's going to crash, and you're looking at the signs and the indicators, but no one knows the exact timing of things. But this was significant. And as we talked about in the interview, I do think there's a much bigger play that's being done here. I think it's a much larger strategy that in the end has the goal of us owning nothing, and them, the elites, whatever you want to call them, owning everything. Now, this is, not to say I told you so, because I'm not that kind of guy, but this is the exact reason why I'm not a big crypto guy. I just don't trust it. I don't trust some digital numbers on a screen somewhere, and I don't trust that the government can't actually access it. Like, I don't believe that there's actually truly private crypto, and that's just my own personal belief. And if someone says, well, the technology says this, well, the thing is that, do you think that we're aware of the tech that the NSA has? Do you think the public is aware of how advanced their tech is, how advanced their quantum computing is? Do you think that we only started using AI in the last, say, 5 years or so? DARPA could have been using AI 15, 20, 30 years ago for all we know. There's a good chance of it. So that's one of the reasons why I don't trust these digital assets, for one. But also, I'm just kind of old school from the perspective that, hey, what if the power goes down? What if there's a grid down scenario, and I've got all of my assets sitting either in my bank account or in the crypto account? That doesn't matter at all. I can't say, hey, hold on, do you have a QR scanner for my phone, and I'll give you a Bitcoin payment? It's like, no. So that's, again, why I'm a big believer in hard assets. Not to mention what we touched on with the LBMA, and how these mechanisms at the LBMA are starting to crack. And this is also a massive story that, if you didn't see my previous interview with David Jensen, please go watch it or listen to it. But I think that what we're going to see, though, is we're going to see a crack in the precious metals market. And I think we're going to see a very quick escalation of the price of precious metals as we see a very sudden drop in the value of the dollar. And that's also why I've been such a big person on gold and silver. Because I was telling something this the other day. Let's just say, 3 years ago, you bought a bunch of silver, it's $20. Say you put $1,000 into silver 3 years ago. Okay, so that $1,000 3 years ago, if you still kept that silver has more than doubled, right? So that's at $50. So we're looking at a 150% increase, or whatever that is. So it's $1,000 would be roughly $2,500 or so, if my math is not screwing me up right now. Anyway, let's just say you have $2,000. That $1,000 in silver turns into $2,000 in silver in nowadays terms. Now, if you put that $1,000 in your bank account and you left it, and say you got a few percentage every year for it or whatever, or say you put it in the stock account and you got a 6% return, it's not still the same $1,000. Let's just say it grew to $1,200, but what is the purchasing power of that $1,200? It's a fraction of what it was 3 years ago. Look at car prices, grocery prices, and this is the example. This is why we're seeing the price of precious metals go up so quickly. It's not because they're just so valuable and everyone wants them. Of course, there's some aspect of that, but it's because it's a reflection of the dollar losing its value. And that's what it means. So if next year, if we see gold hit $10,000 an ounce and silver hit $100 an ounce, which in my honest opinion is completely feasible, what that is also showing us is that the purchasing power of the dollar is starting to drop significantly. And this is why my friends, my family, even my listeners, I've consistently said, hey, Make sure you have some of your assets sitting in precious metals. It's a safe haven. Not to mention that if they start pushing us towards a central bank digital currency and they really start rolling that out, I think that precious metals are one of the few places that you can keep your assets safe. Now, people have said, what about the Gold Confiscation Act of 1933? Well, for one, if you look into that, actually, the general public, most people did not actually turn their gold in. Most of it was coming in through banks and other institutions. Actually, a large portion of the public just kept their gold. Like, they didn't send people door to door collecting gold. And this day and age, like, what's going to happen in America with our population of hundreds of millions of people if they start sending people door to door to collect gold and silver? I just don't see it happening. And if you start smelling that, if you start seeing it coming, well, go do some midnight gardening and bury that silver somewhere. No one's going to find it. Okay. So anyway, if you haven't moved some of your assets into gold and silver and you want to, I highly recommend it. It's not financial advice. Do your own research. If you have someone you can trust, great. If you don't know someone and you're looking for someone you can trust, I personally work with Noble Gold. The CEO, Colin Plume, I know him for quite some time now. He's honest, straight shooter. Go to goldwithseth.com. You can either go and fill out the form to get a free consultation, get a wealth protection kit, or you can just give them a call at 877-646-5347. Now, they also specialize. Noble Gold is the best in the industry when it comes to IRA and 401k transfers. So if you have a 401k and you're saying, you know what, yeah, the market's done great for the past couple of years, I'm ready to kind of move some things around. Noble Gold specializes in allowing you to move your assets from your 401k into physical gold and silver that you own. You literally have exact bars that you own. You can get photographs of them because they're stored in a third party facility, which then allows you to then not have to pay those taxes on the 401k, right? So it's not the same as you going and withdrawing all that money. You're moving it the same way you'd move it into a different mutual bond or something like that. But it's stored third party. You can go visit the actual vault and you can see your exact silver. It's not some paper silver stuff. So if you're interested in that, Noble Gold is the best in the business. So again, the website is goldwithseth.com or phone number 877-646-5347. The other thing I mentioned is I'll pull up one more time. We talked about a stock, a mining stock, Dateline Resources. All transparency, this is the only stock that I own. I bought it about a month and a half ago, just bought a little bit of it. Just for reference though, because I know we mentioned it. So if you wanted this as a reference point, the stock ticker is DTREF on the American Exchange. So again, just put that out there for you. And maybe John and I will do a later show digging more into mining stocks, rare earth elements, et cetera, because there's a lot going on there. So anyway, that's it. That's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you're sharing this content with your friends and family. Also, if you've lasted to the very end of the show, thank you. Congratulations. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and make sure that you're subscribing to whichever area you're watching the show, whether it's on Rumble or YouTube or podcast, whatever. Make sure you're following the channel. All right. Thank you. Take care and God bless you.